Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the 3-Pointer Podcast. I'm Brent Clemmer, your host, and with me, as always, Luke Erickson and Brennan Beck. Today, we got a very special guest coming in. His name's Colby Nickel. Played college basketball, great guy. I know him through Call of Duty, so, I mean, you know that he's on our level when it comes to...
we met him on an online video game, so
that just tells you.
That's a quick intro on him. So we'll get right into the interview after our little pre-show. Beck, what's going on, buddy?
Not so much, man. This is actually our first guest interview, so really excited for that. And Luke left some beer at my house last weekend, so I'm all set.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
And Pooks, what's going on, brother?
Oh, not too much. I'm excited to have Colby here. He's excited to have our first guest host, and not excited that Beck's drinking my beers.
Tastes great, man. Tastes great.
Yeah, too bad me buying me new ones.
Alrighty, so we will bring Colby in just a second. He's just joining up now. So, and after the interview, we do have finals talk, finals recap.
Yeah.
Go Bucks, go.
And Justin's not even here, so it's just going to be a Luke and Beck slay Clem fest.
What do you mean? I wanted the Bucks to win.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
you were there. You were there.
All right, so
there through the struggle.
A certain first round prediction is definitely going to be brought up.
Okay, that's fine. All right. In saying that, we'll bring Colby in right now. Colby, what's going on,
There
man?
he is.
Oh, I'm just chilling, man. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. I lagged out there for a second before you added me in. That's usually my excuse on COD. Now you know it's the truth. I really do lag.
Fair enough, I guess.
Excuses.
Yeah, here we go. Setting the standard.
So we'll start it up with just couple quick questions, and before we do that, just give us a quick introduction where you played. High school, college.
Yeah. So I'm from a small town of Odessa, Missouri, kind of the middle of nowhere. Played on an AU team. Was lucky enough to play with an NBA player now, Landry Shamet. He's on the Brooklyn Nets, doing pretty well. So I had a lot of high-level college coaches come watch him and also me play, And we're playing a tournament in Chicago, a school in Kansas called Benedictine actually saw me up there and started talking to them. They came and watched a few high school games and then ended up offering me a full-ride scholarship. So took that, went there, played there for 5 years, redshirted my first year, then started three of my 4 years eligibility there. So had a pretty successful career, won a lot of games, a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
So basically what Colby's saying is that he's more qualified to talk about basketball than any of us.
Any of us.
Oh, yeah.
He's played more high-level basketball than any of us.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And
our jumper can get us through the YMCA, so you're already miles and miles above us.
Well, I'm retired now. I'm a rec league all-star now. So.
Fair enough. So you are still playing rec league at least.
Yeah, I play a few men's leagues here and there. Nothing serious. Yeah, just kind of whenever I can. I'm busy now. I'm a working man.
But you're definitely a big deal in the rec leagues, right? Like you roll in with all your old college gear on, and it's like, there's Colby.
Yeah, I roll in and the guy's like, oh shit, like he's here to play today.
Oh shit, here comes Colby.
Yeah, they do the double take, fucking balls life, walking in with the cameras behind him. Oh yeah, this guy's going for 60 feet.
So you dress up for rec league, don't you? You pull like some Devin Booker shit into rec league, don't you?
No. Every once in a while, I'll whip out a headband or something just to be just so I'm a real asshole,
Fair enough. Nobody can blame you there. So, You played small forward, correct?
Yeah, more of a 3 guard. So kind of combo. Kind of depend on who was guarding me. If I had a smaller guy, I would go post him up. If I got a bigger guy matched up on me, I would take it to the outside. It's kind of hit and miss. A lot of times had to guard their most athletic player. I don't look very athletic, but I was decently athletic on our team, and that always kind of sucked because I was always in these physical matchups, just getting pushed around.
Fair enough.
How tall were you in college?
6'4".
Okay, so you weren't taking like small dudes. You were probably
no.
Yeah.
These dudes were all 6'6", like super athletic.
Yeah.
And
did you spend any time in the paint, like on defense rather? Did you spend any time in the paint?
Yeah, there was a couple teams where they would have like an athletic 4-man who was a decent amount bigger than me, but our 4 was a little bit slower. So like I'd have to guard him, and I was like, man, I don't want to do that. But
and he'd just be he'd just try to slash the shit out of you the whole game.
Yeah, and be trying to post me up, and I was just taking shots.
The Kyle Lowry flops.
Yeah. No, I wasn't much of a flopper. I think I only took like 3 charges my whole career. I was never for that.
Fair enough. I respect that.
Don't want to put your body in front of it either.
I'll give him a good hard foul to start the game, though. Let him know that means business.
Good old face smack.
Nice little Chris Paul shove in the air as he goes up to the alley.
For sure.
Know you're there. Know you're below him.
Yeah, I have been dunked on though a few times.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that actually. Like, how does it actually feel to be dunked on? Like,
so national tournament. So there's a lot of people watching this. It's in Kansas City, so I got a lot of people there watching me.
So it's like close to you. Like you got a lot of home fans there.
Yeah, and we're winning. We're gonna win the game. It's the final minute. Like we're up. We're just kind of running out the clock. They have the ball. Somebody shoots it. Like I'm not even worried about getting the rebound, because we're gonna win. I turn around. I'm just kind of standing there looking up at the goal, and this dude just flies over the top of me, knee in my back, and dunks it.
That's such bullshit.
Yeah, and I completely ate it, just like on the ground. And they have a jumbotron, and I look up and just see the replay, and I'm like, oh shit.
That's not good. He caught you lacking.
We got that.
Of all places to get caught lacking too, the national tournament, eh?
Right.
So the national tournament.
All the other teams are seeing that, so I'm like, dude, the next team we play is definitely gonna be out there talking shit, being like, hey, we saw that.
Hey, that's true from there. Hey, keep an eye out for. Is it worse when you get dunked on like that? Is it worse to get dunked on from behind and like not get to stare down, or would you rather get dunked on like going up to contest and then get to stare down? I know it's a weird question, but
honestly, I'd rather not get dunked on. But
that's fair. That's very fair.
I don't know. Like, I think that one was almost better just because at least I didn't know it was coming. Whereas, you go to try to contest, and then he just comes over. He's like, I don't even care if you're in my way.
Because, at the end of the day, you weren't paying attention. But I feel like not paying attention and accidentally getting dunked on is better than actually, just getting getting beaten.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you didn't get beat, really. You just got dunked on.
No.
Yeah,
they were just mad that they were losing and wanted to be fucking cool and dunk and put you on your ass.
Granted, it was cool. Like, the replay I watched it, I was like, all right, that was pretty cool. Like, props to you.
Well done.
We're still winning the game. Like, you're still going home. So, like, I don't care.
Like, hey, yeah, we got the dub.
No, he got all in my face after it too, and he was a senior, so I was a shit talker. So I was like, your career is over, bud.
You just point at the scoreboard. Like, yeah. See you later.
Scoreboard. Have fun in community college or JUCO or whatever.
Have fun at the YMCA.
Yeah.
Hopefully, last chance you catch you up there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the step up from high school to college, what was that like?
It was huge, and I don't know how much you guys know about NAI. Like, it's not an NCAA, so it's considered. So at least in my mind, it was a step below that going in, and I didn't realize till I got there that no, it's not really. There's not really that big of a level change. The level change comes with the roster depth. Like, your top 5 in an NAI school are as good as a lot of top 5s at D2 schools. It's just they have a whole bench of 5 more guys, where our bench would usually fall off a little bit. And so I got to school thinking, I was a pretty good high school player. This is going to be easy, and it was not. I struggled a lot that first year with school. I wasn't always the best student, But then with basketball, I was getting my ass kicked by these dudes. I was like, man, I was supposed to be good at basketball.
So your school, it wasn't part of the NCAA at all. It was a separate thing.
Yeah, it's a separate organization.
So how big was your league? How many teams would you guys play against in the regular season?
So we had 12 teams in our conference, I think. We played 24 conference games, so we played everybody twice. So, 12 teams in our conference, and then it was a 32-team national tournament. We got to the national tournament.
That's awesome. No, that's actually a fuck ton. And honestly, I feel like a smaller conference, it's probably easier to after you've played them all, you at least can know what to be prepared for, right?
It's more competitive too.
But it's also harder because they know everything about you too.
Exactly.
So
but it creates better ball. That's kind of what I meant. It creates
it's super competitive. I'm sure we'll talk about it later. We had a season where we won 24 games in a row. It was 29 games in a row in the season. We were 24-0 in conference. Got a big conference ring over there. I can bring it over here and show you in a minute. But in every game was almost it was between 5 points. It was crazy.
Yeah.
We won.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome, though. I feel like that creates a really awesome environment. Like, you have to go out and give like your whole thing, or you're gonna fucking lose. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
I feel like that. 100%. I feel like that creates like really like entertaining to watch and entertaining to play. You know what I mean?
For sure.
For you, besides obviously like the full ride scholarship and everything like that, was there something about NAIA that really appealed to you that maybe said, hey, I'm going to go do this instead of going and doing the traditional D1, D2 route?
Yeah, well, a lot of D2 schools that offered me actually didn't offer me as much as the high school did, and they offered me that full ride. And then I visited the school, and it is a smaller school, but you get more of that community feel. Like, I was really good friends with, good friends with a lot of people there. And then as far as school goes, it was a small classroom size, so I didn't have to be in like huge auditoriums with like 100 people in a class. Like, I had that individual one-on-one with the professor, which is pretty cool, and you don't get that everywhere you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
And at the end of the day, like, when you're going to school to be an athlete, like, obviously you want to try to go hard and level up and go pro, but like, you're also there to learn, and you're also there to like do your education, and like, that's awesome that you like that you picked that because you knew it would be better for you all around than just taking the basketball aspect into it. I think that's awesome.
The great part. Like, our coach was pretty good at that. He's like, I want you to be good. I'm going to try to make you as good as we can. But in reality, you know, we're here to get a degree, and we're here to go get a job and be successful after.
Totally.
So it's enjoy it while we're here and get good while we can. But like, also know there's a bigger goal at the end.
Exactly. Preparing you for life after basketball.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's great, because unless you are like Zion Williamson, or you've been mock drafted since you were like 14 years old, and you're going to do gender studies, you're actually there to learn, right? You're there to learn, and that's good that your coach sees it that way, and that's how the athletics program is brought up into helping teach you lessons about life through a different atmosphere. That's going to make you successful in all facets of life, and not just basketball. That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And
because I feel like a huge problem with a lot of college players, especially when they're good and they're getting these D1, D2 offers, is that they forget that there's life after basketball. Even if you go pro and win championships, there's still life after basketball.
That's true.
And they don't take that into account. So when their dreams don't work out, or they get injured, or they're not as good as everyone thought they were, they're sitting here with like a meaningless degree, or not even a degree because they never went to class, and they're just fucked for the rest of their life.
Yeah,
and
they got no skills.
Because when they made their choice to where to go, they picked where they wanted to play basketball, not where it was going to be best for their all around life. And I think that's a really big problem with college athletes. So I think it's awesome that you took the route that you knew was going to be best for you.
Even that too, like the agents, the minute that those guys retire, the agents aren't really like doing anything for them anymore. Like, you've got your endorsements, you got all that. So like, if you're like AI and you just go out and lose one of your bags of money or something like that, your agent's not there to pick up the slack for you, right?
No, but AI was so fucking smart though. He put like how many, like at least a couple million away for him not to be allowed to touch till he was what, 40, 50, something like that.
Okay, yeah, but he went
like that was
like 2 times in between.
I mean, yeah, but now he's like a year away from getting that money, and he'll be fine for the rest of his life instead of being
for 2 more years. For 2 more years, for 2 more
he's gonna have to go bankrupt for the time being.
He's just got like his iPhone countdown. He's like, oh god damn it, I only made it 2 years this time. Shit, it's time to sell more assets.
Shit.
But like you laugh at it, but like it's a serious problem. A lot of professional athletes like are poor after they leave the league because they spend it all on Rolexes and cars and think it's going to be forever, and it's not.
Yeah, then they break, right?
Oh, Colby, you looked like you wanted to say something there.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just listening to their conversation. That was funny. That AI blowing the money. No, we didn't have that problem though at the NAIA school. I didn't have anybody coming to try to buy my autograph from me. You know, I didn't feel like getting in trouble with the league.
You weren't like selling merch or anything.
No, there was nobody there to buy
need
that
for the name, image, likeness rules or whatever for NAIA guys.
Didn't have to worry about that at all.
No. And I'm honestly glad you brought that up, because I wanted to ask you about that because like you were a college athlete, right? Like, what do you think that that's going to be good for the players? Like, do you think that they deserve it, or do you think that that's going to create just too much like turmoil?
I think in the long run will be good. I think in the first couple of years, it's going to be choppy because you got all these athletes right now rushing to sign with people, probably signing things they're not even 100% sure what they're signing, you know.
Totally.
I feel like we're going to see some get into some bad deals where we're like, you know, you shouldn't have signed that, but you did, so now you're contractually obligated. But I think in the long run, I mean, they'll have agents when they're younger, and their parents will probably have to help out. There'll definitely be some messes, you know. There's no all it being perfect, but I think in the long run, it's better for the athletes to be able to go ahead and capitalize on that while they're young.
Totally. And like, there's a positive and negative to everything. And like I agree with you. I think it's going to be really choppy for a while, but at the end of the day, I think they deserve to be able to make money off their likeness, especially when there's no guarantee that they're going to go to the NBA and make money. So you might as well
you never know what's going to happen, right? We see it all the time. A college phenom, but he gets injured, and then that's it, and he never actually got the chance to make that money. So it's like, what? We
see it in the NBA too. Like we see it in everywhere. It's crazy. It's just there's no job security. There's no job security.
It's crazy that you mentioned that, Luke, and I'm glad you did, because I was kind of going to mention it later, but we'll talk about it now. Is Mikey Williams, if you know Bronny James's draft class, he's actually the #1 prospect, and he just signed with like Creative Arts Agency or something like that to do his brand deals, and he's expected to make like almost $10 million a year. Like, this guy's in high school, right? Like, that's getting the bag early, and that's maximizing your marketability.
Imagine having $10 million in high school. Like,
that would be bad.
Can you imagine? I would spend that in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I just hope for these kids. Yeah, I hope for these kids' sake, they just have people around them that help them be smart. I know myself and how I would have reacted in high school with that much money, and I would have I would have flamed out.
$10 million, you could literally retire. You can put that all in a bank account and retire right now.
Oh yeah.
So like I don't know.
Fresh Prince shit or something.
The thing that worries me,
and fucking blows it.
The thing that worries me the most about that is the parents, because sooner or later you're gonna get parents that are like we're gonna make some serious money off this kid, and he has no fucking right to it because he's fucking 16. Like, and they just take it and they say they're putting it in a bank account for him, but they're just putting it in their account and just cashing it in and stuff. Like, I think it's sad to say that there are parents that would do that, and that's another part of it that makes me uneasy about it, because these kids will they'll start getting there, and their parents will start to push them more to make more, and then that'll start to just strain them out, and then they'll start to just not love the game, or worse.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that burnout take over either, where they're getting forced to do so much stuff, and they get distracted from what's important to them. I mean, they're in high school, they're not worried about making millions. They just want to have fun with their friends.
You're supposed to enjoy life.
They just want to play the game they love, right?
And younger guys too. You're gonna see. If that's the case, obviously parents aren't trying to push kids. Not that many parents are trying to push kids to make the NBA. But if it becomes to the point, there's so many D1 teams. If it comes to the point where players are making money for playing D1, parents are going to push the hell out of that.
Oh, totally.
Because there's so many teams.
Not even that. Just from like a parent's perspective, it's like, hey, if we can push our kid to get a D1 scholarship and save all that money from sending him to college for free, like, heck yeah,
and then he's going to make us. And then he's going to make us income on top of that.
Like if he's actually marketable, and like, look, more and more kids are becoming marketable now, especially in high school, and
especially with social media coming up.
Yeah,
totally.
That's my next question. What do you think about this new American high school basketball scene, which is, I've seen more of it than ever. Like, it was totally obscure to me even 5 years ago.
My AAU basketball was kind of like when that was all getting ramped up. Like, it was first starting with like these, like the hoop mixtapes were blowing up big. Like, obviously they were already around on YouTube, but now it's like these Instagram accounts are coming up and everybody sees it all the time.
They're way bigger.
They started to blow up.
Yeah, and actually, funny story. Do you know Malik Newman, the KU star?
Heck yeah. Yeah,
I'm on his highlight tape, so sometimes you need to look that up. He crossed me over pretty good. I've been viewed 1 million times getting crossed. But it's awesome, and they have these big tournaments in KC, and I help a little bit with the AAU team I used to play with, and they play in these tournaments, and you go there, and the atmosphere is it's electric. I mean, you walk in, and all these kids are super hyped, and they see one of these big prospects, like Mikey, the one you were talking about, was in KC here, and a lot of these big players were here, and like to see like some of the kids that I've coached from high school in Odessa, like posted on their story, like they love it. It's super exciting for them to be a part of that atmosphere. So I think it's pretty cool, pretty special thing for them.
Yeah, totally. You think from like a development perspective too. Do you think that's kind of the way it should be for like American basketball? Because we know it's head and shoulders above everyone else. Is that sort of that competitive atmosphere with where everybody knows everyone? Do you think that's good for the game?
Yeah, it just makes for big games, I mean, they talk about marketing, like we got the top players playing against each other, like that iron sharpens iron. Like the way you get better isn't by going and beating some no-name team in your hometown by 50 because you're the best player. It's by going and playing the other best players in the nation. And by these tournaments, you get to put all of them together and watch it happen. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I would definitely like to go down and watch an AAU tournament. I feel like that would be a lot of fun
because they get hyped.
I'd troll Bronny. I would troll.
Bronny's not AAU, is he? I thought that was high school.
He was playing. He's been playing since like West Coast, since his Cleveland days. Like he was playing West Coast with Mikey, and like they had a loaded West Coast Blue Chips team.
Yeah. So the way it works here is like you play your normal high school team. Like so, I played for Odessa during the year, but then the second that was over, then I was back to my AAU team playing competitive, and every weekend I was traveling to a different city playing a tournament.
Right.
So, like, if you were a basketball player, saying you were playing high school basketball and you were playing AAU, like, it just never stopped, eh? Like,
year round.
No, awesome. It was year round, man. I couldn't wait for high school basketball season to get over most of the time because AAU is just so much more fun. You get to travel, you're playing a lot of different teams, you're seeing a lot of different things, and so I like that way more than a high school coach and other people that didn't like basketball as much as I did.
Yeah.
When you played in high school, did you guys get like a lot of fans? Like, was there a lot of people at the games always, or was it more like nobody really, like, it was just more people cared about football?
No, actually, our high school games were pretty packed. So we're a smaller school. So again,
that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, so we had kind of a small gym, but it would be completely filled up, people going nuts, and it was like that for all sports. We had a pretty good just support at our school for all athletics. It was pretty fun to play there.
For our Canadian viewers, their small gyms are like our large gyms.
Like in some places, in some places
they pack them like our large gyms, though. Like they're like shoulder to shoulder. What is it? Like you said, you play AAU, and obviously we know AAU is best players against best players. And I don't know if you can recall, but maybe do you remember the best player you've played against? But also, what is it like going against some of these guys where there's all kinds of fanfare around them?
Yeah, so I played against Michael Porter Jr. a handful of times.
I
played
love
against
MPJ.
And he's obviously, kind of excelling now. And so I'm a Mizzou fan.
Yep.
He went to Missouri. Both my parents are Mizzou alumni. So that was really disappointing when he went there and then had those injuries. I never got to see him play there. So I was like, Mizzou's finally going to make a run. And then he was hurt. But then to see him in the NBA really start to come alive is pretty cool to see.
He had a really huge season this year. I was really hyped about it. Yeah. I love Michael Porter Jr.
And I played against Bobo.
Against Bobo?
Yeah, he's from the KC area or went to school here at Bishop Miege. And so I played against him quite a few times, honestly, since he was young because he was always playing up, and then played against him a few times while I was in high school. And he's really come on compared to what he was because, he was not that good back when we were younger. Like, he was obviously huge, but then he really seems like he's added a ton of skill to his game.
Is it weird for you to watch dudes you used to play against in high school, like playing in the NBA, like playoffs? Is like even regular season? Is that weird? Just turn the TV on and like see dudes you used to play against.
Yeah, like I used to watch Landry dunk on like random kids at tournaments on weekends, and now
literally
he's getting passes from Kevin Durant and shooting corners.
Yeah, literally, like that's crazy to even comprehend.
Yeah. It just makes it feel so real, right? Like
totally,
it's there, it's real. Like,
are you guys still buddies or?
So I played with that team only for that one summer. I had gone up there to hopefully get recruited for college and then played. And they're like, yeah, you're pretty good. Like, join this. So I didn't know him as well. Some of those guys had been together for a few years, but I do know him. He does follow me on Instagram. So I can say I got an NBA
That's dope. That's dope.
So would you say, like, because we know too, I don't know what the age is like, but like Missouri area, that area is actually bringing up a lot of good players right now. Like you got Brad Beal, Tatum, Shaman,
tons of players from around the St. Louis and Missouri area.
Would you say MPJ was the best player you've ever played against, or is there someone else like?
So he was younger than me, so I think now it's pretty easy to say he was probably the best player I played against. But then again, Bobo's right there. Malik Newman at the time was the number one player in his class when I played against him.
Well, 5'7", number 8 overall. Like he was nuts.
So Bill Self was at that game. Like Calipari was at that game. Like, we had everybody watching us at that game, and so it was a pretty sweet thing. So at that time, it was probably him just because all the fanfare around him.
Yeah, totally.
What about
Luke, did you go up to like Malik Newman after the game and like after you got crossed up, it was like, hey dude, I just got you a couple D1 offers, like I'll take my
I actually told him to go to Mizzou, and he's like just kind of looked at me and didn't say anything. And then he went to KU, and I was like, this guy.
Oh, this guy's a fucking snake.
Crosstowner. Goddamn guy.
Did you ever were you ever at the same tournament, like at the same time as any like huge guys, or like do you ever like on the bench, like in between games, watch any like pro guys play now?
Yeah.
Diamond Stone was one. He was kind of a smaller name guy. I think he's in the G League
Yeah.
right now. But I got the ones I
Yeah,
told you I played against. I played against Ferguson. I think he's on OKC.
Oh
Terrence,
yeah.
Yeah,
Terrence
he
Ferguson.
was actually on Malik Newman's team and was not like a name at that time. And so I remember like Malik threw him an alley oop in the game, and I watched this dude jump up and dunk it, and I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And then come to find out a couple years later, I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like I went to OKC and I saw him, and I was like, "I played against that dude."
was he still jumping out of the gym at that time, or like?
Yeah, like unreal.
Yeah.
Like I swear he just like chest passed the ball like through the rim on an alley oop, and I was just like, "What do you want me to do here? Like, how am I supposed to compete with that, dude?"
Yeah. The coach comes up to you, he's like, "Hey, I need you to guard like 2-3 over there." That's the guy that just dunked it. Like, I don't know about that, man. Yeah, no back.
You got it all wrong. That's not me.
That ain't me, coach.
Yeah. When you see those guys, were you able to kind of say to yourself, like, yeah, man, like they're going to the league?
Some of them, yeah, for sure. Some of them I wasn't really sure about. I wasn't really sure about Landry at first. Like he came on late. He grew a couple inches that summer I was playing with him, and then got the offer from Wichita State. And then while he was there, really blossomed and grew a lot into more of an NBA prospect. Like he was not on a lot of D1 schools' radar at all.
He was 3 or 4 years. Like maybe he might have had a redshirt year, but I think he was.
I think it was 3 years. Yeah.
Because you see a lot of players, like won't be huge names in high school, but then they'll go to college and they love the atmosphere and they love to just work, and then they just go out and just ball and get way better because they just thrive under that kind of pressure. And that, like, you get a lot of time on court too. Like I was gonna ask you about that. Like I guess I was gonna ask you a bit later, but I'll ask you now. Like how many hours a week do you think you spent on the court in college?
Oh God. So I would go get 500 to 800 shots up pretty much every day. Like in between class, we had the locker room there. We could chill. We had a Wii in there, so we were always in there playing Super Smash. And then
that's dope.
Yeah, and then I'd go in there, get the gun out, get my shots in, and then go back to the room, chill for a bit, come back for practice, which was usually around 2 hours. But you had to get to practice, 30 to 45 minutes early because you had a pre-training routine you had to go through where I'd usually do my ankle stretches, all my ankle prehab, sit in the hot tub for a little bit, get warmed up, then go put my stuff on and get ready for practice. And then, you got weights 3 times a week. It's
a huge commitment.
It is. Yeah. It is.
Like you were pretty much treated like pros essentially by the sounds of it. Like
we're lucky enough that even though we had a smaller school, they took a lot of pride in their athletics. And so, we had great trainers, great strength coaches, and great facilities, like all new facilities, all new equipment. So it was honestly, it was pretty special where we were at.
What's the most like NBA player thing that's ever like you've ever got gifted something, or like your team got something, you just got treated like what's the most NBA what's the most like NBA thing that ever happened to you?
So when you go to the national tournament, they give you a sponsor, and it's like a local business sponsors you, and they take you out to dinner and they just say get whatever you want. So I'm getting like all these fancy like drinks, like lemonade. We couldn't drink, the team thing, but fancy lemonade.
Couldn't drink.
I'm getting an appetizer. I'm getting like a $50 steak. I'm getting a dessert. And I was just like, damn, like this is it right here.
Like life is good. This is how Kevin Durant feels every day.
Yeah, right.
No. Kevin Durant is like on the recruiting day, like when he brings Lana Rhodes in, but it's like Louisville when they bring all of the ladies of the night in. We know that.
Right. Yeah, we didn't get that. Benedictine was a Catholic school, so we didn't get that treatment.
So they weren't ordering you hookers like some other schools.
So nuns. All right.
Right. That was one cool thing about the school, though. Is I'm not Catholic, but being a Catholic school, I did have a monk and a nun teach a class while I was there, and so that was kind of a new thing to see that. They live there on campus, so it's just kind of weird seeing them all walking around.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like 8 a.m. class. You're just like half asleep, and there's just a nun just like, what the fuck?
Well, if it's any comparison, we had mass one time a year at our Catholic high school, and they made us get up for 7 a.m. basketball practice before and then we set up the gym after for mass. So yeah, man, an NBA moment.
Dude, I would sleep so hard in those masses. Oh, I would just lean back in my chair and just pass the fuck out.
Yeah, like you remember like I don't know if it was communion, but the part where they made you come up for like the bread and stuff.
Yeah,
like
communion.
that. It's like you guys be quiet. Everyone would get up and like walk up there. I just get up and walk the other way, like walk up.
Just leave.
Like, yeah, I'm done here.
Did they like? So they didn't push like religion too hard on you, even though it was a Catholic school. Like they probably made you guys pray before games and stuff like that, and like I just assumed that. No,
not even really. The only thing they made you do there was take a theology class and a philosophy class, which honestly isn't that bad. It was kind of
that's
cool
not
to
even
learn about.
terrible to be
Yeah,
honest.
they didn't,
That's similar to our high school. Like we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't make you go to like you didn't have to attend so many services a week because some of those smaller religious schools they make their athletes do some of the stuff like that. The only
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, there was rules there on campus. You know, you couldn't have a girl in your room after midnight, but you know,
I bet.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys followed that one to a T.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure no one ever broke that rule.
Yeah, we were. And also, you know, it was a Catholic school. We also partied our ass off like all the time. We got on blast.
Saturday, they just absolutely belligerently hammered.
Yeah, you'd have a Saturday.
Right? So
you'd have a Saturday home game, and we catch that dub, and then everybody was all like, "Let's go out for the bars," and everybody's buying us shots.
There's an NBA moment for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's a pretty good one.
So Benedictine, the school you went to, it was it like a small town that you were in then? Like everyone knew the basketball team or whatever like that? Like
yeah, it's a larger than Odessa, but it's still a pretty small town, about 10,000 people, and it's pretty rural, even though there is like a central city population, but it's pretty rural. And the community really came and supported us and supported all Benedictine athletics. So you'd have a lot of people that were just fans of the school that would come watch you on a consistent basis, season ticket holders, and you get to know them as you were there for the years. And so before games, like I'd go over and shake hands and say hi to them because you know it's pretty cool just to have people that they don't have somebody playing that they're watching and they just want to come watch you play.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like it makes you want to play harder too. Like I feel like when you have people there every night, like they're cheering you on, like hoping you're doing good. I feel like it like motivates you to play harder.
When it's not like when it's not your parents and it's just people who genuinely care about the team.
Yeah, literally.
You, right?
They don't have to be there, but they choose to be there.
People who donate to the program, like the reason we got all the gear we got is a lot of times because people would donate money, and so you know you want to go out there and do the best you can because you know I'm getting a lot on the back end from this.
Totally random question: what shoes did you wear?
So we were a
New
Under Armour
Balance
school, so I wore some Steph Curry's. Not a huge fan of them, to be honest. Not a huge fan. I went through a few pairs a year because they would wear out super quick.
You weren't there for like I don't know what edition of the Currys it was, but it was like the dad shoe edition or whatever. It was just like the all white, and it looked like you'd mow the lawn with them.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, well, I had some bright orange ones. I looked like I was going hunting or something.
What about AAU?
What kind of this guy? He's got the orange shoes on.
What kind of shoes do you wear in AAU?
So AAU, I was that kid. I'd show up in some socks pulled up to my knees with like some crazy designs. I'd always have like some purple or some crazy colored shoes. Like just being that kid.
The Kyrie Lucky Charms or some shit like that.
I never wore a shooting sleeve though. There's no film out there. I never wore a shooting sleeve. I wasn't that kid.
Fair enough. You know what? I respect that because I still fail to see how shooting sleeves actually help your shooting.
Maybe I should have tried though. You know, my 3-point percentage wasn't always great.
The shooting sleeve would have put just put it way higher.
It adds 5% immediately. It's like a badge in 2K.
Yeah, it's 2K.
Yeah, and if you wear 2, it's 10. If you wear 2, it's 10%.
Yeah.
My roommate was an awful 3-point shooter, and in college wore a shooting sleeve just for that reason.
This is definitely the reason why it sucks.
Yeah, no, it was like Ben Simmons just to draw attention to himself, making people think he could shoot.
For real. And every time he'd miss a 3 in a game, he'd run down the court and look at me and he'd be like, "I usually make those." God
damn it! What's wrong with me,
dude?
So you weren't one of the Reggie Jackson style, the compression pants with the arm sleeve, the goggles, the whole deal.
I didn't have the whole 9 yards. I did wear a headband. For a season in college for no reason.
I feel like you gotta do something.
Was that like your sort of masked LeBron season where you just went absolutely nuclear or whatever, or was that just long hair,
That-
just feeling the headband.
That was the year. So that was the year we won all those games in a row. Most of our team wore no-show socks. I wore a headband. We had the kid that couldn't shoot threes wearing a shooting sleeve. Like, we were just a bunch of like idiots for real. And so everyone on our starting five averaged over 10 points a game. So we were just a bunch of like consistent, solid dudes. Like, I would score 0 one game, 20 the next, and everybody would kind of do that. And like we were just a
different
solid
guys would
team.
have different nights.
Yeah. And we were a great 3-point shooting team, despite me and my roommate. We had a knockdown shooter that was like 45%. Our big man, my other roommate, our 4-man was a 40-something plus. And then we had another guy that was 40-something plus. And then we had an All-American point guard who was just – so we were solid.
Yeah. Did any of the dudes you played with in college, did they like move on like to D1 or higher, or did they all just kind of stay there? Do you guys have the same core team for a while?
We had the same core team there for a couple of years, and then they got a young core that was below us, and they're kicking ass now, and they're all back this next year. So next year they should be pretty deadly too.
Yeah.
So how long ago was it? Was it last year that you were done, or?
Yeah, so last year, spring break, I came home because of COVID and never went back. I'm gonna grab a phone charger real quick, guys, so I don't die on you and bug out. But yeah, I came home on COVID break and it was just done, and then was kind of sitting around, and my degree came in the mail, and I was like, oh shit, I better get a job.
Yeah, I guess I'm done.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right? Like I was like, all right, I'm done.
All right, nice knowing you. Yeah.
Right.
Quick question for you. You're obviously you guys had the really good season. Not sure how it went about the national tournament, but if you were going to compare that 24-0 or 28-0 team or whatever the record ended up being at the end, are we going 2014-15 Warriors? Are we going like 2015-16? What are we talking here? We got a pro comparison.
It's tough because we're not pros.
No, I know. I just want to hear what you're saying. I just want to see if you come out the gate, be like, yeah, 2016-17, we were unanimous MVP Curry, lights out, Kevin Durant on the wing.
See, I think it's funny though, because they had those all-stars. Like, we weren't an all-star group. Like, we just had such a solid core. Like, I'm trying to think of a good pro comparison team that, like, it was like that Atlanta Hawks team a few years ago that didn't have a star on it, and they made a pretty good playoff run.
2014,
yeah, it was kind of like
15, right?
Yeah, it was kind of more like them, whereas like we didn't have that guy that was going out there and could just get you 25 a night. Like, we just had dudes that knew their role, and when it was our night, like if it wasn't my night and I knew the guy it was, like, okay, I'm gonna do what I can to get him open and get him the ball because I want to win, and he's going off right now.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Another kind of quick random question for you. You said you weren't much of a 3-point shooter, and I actually I was bored today, so I took the liberty of looking up on YouTube. And I found a couple tapes, and
we're gonna watch his highlights.
No.
Do we have the ability to screen share this?
Yeah, I
we
want to
do
see
have
it.
the ability to do this. However, I don't know if it was like your mom or something that
it was my
recorded
mom.
these.
Don't play that one.
Now we have to see it. The viewers have to see it.
Yeah, I really would like to see this.
Go ahead, share it.
All right. But I have to ask, dude. Like 1,000 points in high school, like, dude, I don't think I had 100. So, like, good job. That's fucking
scored
amazing.
1,000 points in high school. That's fucking unreal.
But on 60% shooting, which is fucking nuts. Were you like a center or something in high school? Like, did you just have a super small team?
Yeah,
small ball center.
I literally I was the team, so I guarded whoever their best player was, whether he was a point guard or a center, and I had to do everything in between.
Yeah.
So you were like Ben Simmons, but you could actually score points.
Yeah. Yes and no. His high school mixtape looks a lot cooler than mine.
Fair enough. Beck, are we pulling it up? I'm really excited to see this.
Yeah. So
it won't have audio.
No.
Oh, thank God! Thank God.
I apologize. I don't think this is your headband season, because this is his high school, obviously. But
you found his high school tapes, eh?
This is 2015 Colby Nichols, recorded by his mom, Miss.
That's a pretty nice gym.
Yeah.
That's a small gym. That would be like a nice gym in Canada.
You're 5'5", I assume. Like,
yeah, my last name's Nichols, so I was 5'5" in high school. I guess you got American currency. We got
Nichols here too.
All right.
That's funny as hell. I didn't realize that. I was looking. I'm like, dude. I was looking at the haircut, and I was like, I think that's you. And then I saw it, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense now. 5'5".
Man, we just pressed in high school, and I would just get steals on steals at the time that I pressed.
Yeah, I saw in your senior year you led your team in points, I believe, steals.
What number are you again? Sorry, I missed
55.
55. This kid, this big lanky ass kid right here.
Yeah, they're on the 2-3 with the buzz, right? Like,
yeah, he's got the buzz. He looks like Joker.
Yeah, I had a mohawk with lines shaved in the side.
Oh god. The friggin' Army was offering him a D1 scholarship to play basketball with that haircut.
Right.
All right,
That
going to
haircut.
West Point. Going to West Point.
West Point.
Yeah, I will say that was the biggest transition from high school to college. That was in high school, I was doing everything. I was handling the ball. I was posting people up. I was playing center. I was handling the ball. But like when you get to college, like it's more like now I'm a slasher.
Look at the press in the point guard.
I know, it's crazy.
Look at him pressing the point guard.
They're trapping him.
Look at him.
He
takes 2 steps. He's faster than the ball.
Yeah. We've seen all kinds of stories about guys like Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant who were like smaller dudes at times, but played guard in high school. Obviously, your situation being a little bit different. Did playing the center position have any added benefits to yourself when you transition to college? Maybe just some alternate facets of the game, like rebounding and stuff like that? Or
well, I told you that when I had a smaller guy on me, I would post. Like I had a pretty good post game because I did a lot of posting, and then also I did a lot of handling the ball in high school, so I wasn't afraid to handle the ball when I had to. So it kind of gave me that confidence that I can do pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I guess that
I want to see a turnaround. I want to see a turnaround jumper.
It looks like this is like a full game or something.
Yeah, that one's a full game.
Yeah, I had another one earlier where it was like, oh shit, 2-3. Oh,
of course he bricked it.
Oh, he's got the rebound though. He's got the that's the hustle. That's the hustle. Hey, 2-3. 2-3.
You are like far and away the biggest dude on your team. Like it's not even close.
Yeah. They walk in the room and they see,
I keep looking in the paint for a big guy, but the big guy's is like guarding the point guard. The big guy's like rushing the point guard in the inbound.
Did Benedictine, right? Did I say that right?
Yep.
Did they have a football team?
Yeah, they had a football team too. And our football team, so the year we won all those games in a row, we're number 1 seed in the national tournament. They actually lost in the national championship. So they made it all the way there. Our girls soccer team was in the Final Four. Lacrosse went to the national championship. They lost it too. But like our sports programs were all going just crazy that year. Yeah. So like on campus, there was just like a buzz from all the athletic programs.
That's got to be cool too. That's got to just be like everyone's hype about sports. Out of bounds.
Deflection.
Jeez, you gotta control the ball better, man.
Yeah, you know what?
You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it to the league with those handles.
So
Luke, the Kingston College intramural coach.
Yeah, literally. 10 times better than I'll ever be, but I'm gonna criticize you.
I'm gonna tell him with my intramural basketball experience how to play defense.
So Colby,
yeah, what's up?
Basically, I was just wondering what was it like after your final year? What was it like to like go from being that into it, that consistent all the time playing basketball to like all of a sudden not having to do that?
Oof. Yeah. I mean, burnout was definitely a real thing, especially towards the end of my career. I had a few nagging injuries. I separated my shoulder my senior year, and I just got a shot in it and kept playing.
There we go.
And I was not the same.
Nice
I was not the same player after that. So I was kind of fighting through that. And then when I finished up, it was kind of nice just to have some time to kind of take a break and step back from it. And I think I haven't really missed it as much as I thought I would. I think the older I get, the more I'll be like, man, I wish I could go back and do it again. I can still play a little bit now, so it's not the same. But I think once I'm through playing, then I'll really miss it. But I think I'm okay. I'm happy I did what I did. I worked really hard at it, had a lot of success. But like now it's on life after basketball, right?
Yeah, you went further than a lot of people go. Like
yeah.
And that's a good outlook to have on it, just to be like, I'm happy that it happened, and it's like, this is my life now.
And I mean, hey, doing that got you this opportunity to come on with a bunch of Canadian kids that never played high-level basketball to come on a podcast.
There's some people that hang on to half a season of sports in a town in Mexico. And so you got further than that. So, like, you got lots of stuff to hold on to.
Yeah, a lot of people hold on to one play that they made in high school.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
A little bit
went further than a lot of people.
Yeah, man. I was on the golf course today, and I was playing an absolute shitter of a game, and just ripped a 350-yard bomb down the fairway, like
when I see it.
Like daily. You know, it's a shot that keeps coming back, right? Like,
I believe it when I see it.
Totally nothing to do with it, but I mean, I just thought I'd bring that up because I felt good about it today.
He just wanted to bring up that he hit 350.
Oh yeah, it was a piss.
I don't believe that for 2 seconds.
No, dude.
Neither do I. He was Snapchatting me, and he goes, I'm playing like shit. And then he sends me a picture of a beer, and he goes, I got the juice out. I just hit 350.
It was probably my fucking beer, too. You're drinking my fucking beer right now. So disrespectful.
Brother. But yeah, thanks for the beer, by the way. But
disrespect.
No, I was playing like dog all day. It was just it wasn't there for me. I ripped out the secret stuff, got the Bud Light out. Sorry, secret exposed, but John Daly put it down beside me and just ripped it and put my hand up and just saw it flying down the fairway. Called 4, went right over him. That was my day.
It went into the woods and it came out like 100 yards further. I don't know how.
Yeah. It's like someone picked up and threw it. I don't know what was happening.
I don't know how it happened.
So I think that's all we got for you today, Colby. If you do want to bring up anything specific about the NBA now, or what you're doing with your life, or anything you want to rant about, use us as a platform. I don't care if it's basketball related.
All right.
You can stay and talk about the finals too if you want.
All right.
Yeah,
I can do that too. I'll just tell you real quick what I'm doing now. I just got a sales position. I sell security systems for homes, and I just take the same competitive approach I had in basketball to that, and I'm having a lot of success there. So making some money.
Didn't you say you made $700 today?
I did make $700 a day. Made 2 sales.
Wow.
I'm only 9 away from my $4,000 bonus. So
wow.
Yeah, boy.
And like what they have to do like that many sales in a month and you get $9,000, or that many sales in like a year?
I got 90 days to do it, and I've only used 20, and I'm already at 6 or 7.
That's not bad at all. Wow.
No, pretty good job.
He's got to clear probation early parole for this guy.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
What? Yeah.
What?
What?
I was just agreeing with you. I didn't even know.
Was Colby in jail?
No, it's probation, right? It's like employment or whatever.
Oh,
like
the probation. Oh, right.
I'll tell you one locker room story that I think you guys would get a kick out of.
Yes.
So before every game, I see you hitting that little vape pen. We would be ripping the jewel. It's like me and my roommate were like pregame jewel rips, and we'd just go rip the jewel, and then we went 26-0 in conference. And then after the game, we'd just go get fucked up and do it again.
Dude, when I played house league hockey, we used to vape in the fucking dressing rooms. Like the coaches would sit in there, we would just hit the vapes, and they just wouldn't fucking care. It was awesome.
Probably I don't know how your season ended like that year you went undefeated. It was probably like, we ran out of jewel pods or something. Yeah, they ran out of pods. Like, we get to a store before the game. They're like, oh shit, we're done. Fuck.
Pack it in, boys. We'll try it
again.
Yeah, so we're gonna transition. I really appreciate you coming on, Colby. You're welcome to stay and talk finals with us.
I think I'll go ahead and take off. I'll let you guys take over on the show. And thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun. If you ever want me to come back, just let me know.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely have you on again sometime. I'm sure you got a lot more stories. This is our first interview, so we're still learning from that sense. But we really appreciate you coming on. You were awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
I'll get this to you as soon as possible, and hopefully see you on COD tonight.
Yeah, I'll see you on COD
I'm
tonight.
I'm looking up all your high school clips, and I'm going to be prepared with chirps tonight.
All right. Take care, guys.
Have a good one, bro.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks, man. Fuck, what a guy.
That was fun.
Awesome.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah,
he's a cool guy. And obviously, nice to have a guest on for the first time. I thought he was a pretty good first one to get on.
Totally.
And He's got.
And,
I bet he's got a lot more fun stories. So we'll get him back on sometime.
Sure. Yeah, he's been there, right? He's been there, done that. That's what we love to see. And if anyone, I know I say this a lot, but if anyone out there viewing has any kind of basketball stories or experience, and they think that you might make a good guest, hit us up. We got socials. We're people. Hit us up. We can
hit us up on Instagram, which is on the top of your screen.
Yep.
And yeah, more socials will go up there soon. I threw that together very, very quickly. So, yeah, so that's what we got from that interview. Hope everyone enjoyed that. And now we'll transition into a finals recap.
2021 NBA champions were crowned 2 nights ago, I believe it was. The Milwaukee Bucks, they won the game by, how many points did they win the game by? 10? 9?
13. No,
13. 13. Yeah, pretty convincing performance from Giannis. 50 points. I don't even need to say the rest of the stat line because he scored 50 points in a finals game.
The single greatest finals performance of all time.
Wow,
that's no. The single greatest game. The single greatest
stats wise.
Game.
Stats wise.
Stats wise, the single greatest finals game of all time.
Totally.
Like 50 points on almost 70% shooting, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks.
And Chris and Drew were lights out on both ends. Both of them were grabbing steals left, right, and center. Chris was knocking down his shots. Like they were the team the whole game. And I don't think that I don't think that the second that the tip off happened, I don't think that I saw the fucking Suns compete much.
No. And I think we saw it I think we said it, Luke, for 3 weeks. We were waiting for Milwaukee to hit top gear, and they hit top gear.
And I'm pretty sure there was a certain person named me that said that they were going to lose the first 2 and then win 4 straight. And,
yes. No. That was totally you.
And I was confident in that, and it happened.
Luke, I'll let you be the third-party verification on this because I remember doing our pre-postseason predictions, and I said, I don't know if I said this blatantly.
You guys got 30 seconds.
No, I don't know if I said this to Luke, but I said, you know what? Everyone's going Brooklyn. I'm taking Bucks in 7. I think if anyone's going to beat the Brooklyn Nets, it's the Milwaukee fucking Bucks.
And you guys have been hearing this for every episode, and Beck and I were very, very happy when it finally came to fruition. And Clem was too. Clem was on the hype train for the finals.
That's what Giannis is smoking.
Yeah.
I saw. What did I see about Chris? I looked up Chris Paul memes today in the hopes that I would find something that would absolutely insult him, but I couldn't find anything better than reading the tweet that said Chris Paul is the first player in NBA history to give up 4 2-0 series leads, and that's all I needed to read. That is all I needed to read because you know what? We can all agree here. As
Chris
much
Paul's
as I
a bum.
what Chris Paul's done for the game,
and Devin Booker completely choked in the last 2 or 3 games. He just completely choked.
And Devin Booker said it himself, "Don't compare him to Kobe." And dude, I never will.
You shouldn't. I never have. No, you will never have to worry about that.
I will say this right now. I won't lie. I wasn't on the Bucks hype train from the start, and I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't really until the last series, and that's only for the fact that I hate the fucking Suns.
Yep, fair enough.
I didn't care who they were playing. I didn't want the Suns to win.
All jokes and all jabs aside, I was very, very happy to see Giannis win.
Yes.
Yeah,
he deserved it.
Yeah. He could retire. It. He could retire right now, and he'd be a first ballot.
Dude, the scene when the buzzer went and he went and sat down and he had the hat on and he was crying. That was It was Jordan-esque.
The whole time, I swear he was just in shock.
He couldn't believe it.
I just didn't see that outroar of emotion. I thought we'd just hear him scream at the top of his lungs or something that he finally did.
Bobby.
But the whole time it was
that was so funny.
When is it gonna come out? For when is it all just?
I mean,
when
he got the Finals MVP trophy, he looked right at the thing and just went,
yeah.
That was the funniest. That was the funniest thing ever. He just went up and he looked so dumbfounded, and he got the trophy and walked straight up the middle with his shoulders fucking up and just started screaming.
Because it should have gone to Bobby. It should have gone to
Bobby Portis.
In reality,
I don't even think he would have cared. I don't even think
The
Giannis would have cared.
The interview where Bobby and Pat Connaughton are sitting there, and like Malika Andrews or whatever her name is like, how much champagne have you guys consumed? They look at each other and just start laughing.
Laughing.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we know we got carried to a title. Like,
Dude,
yeah.
like, I was just like, that whole team, I was like, I'm really happy that they won the chip. I was sad when the Lakers went out, but then I was hoping that Milwaukee was going to be it, because if there was going to be a team that I wanted to win that wasn't the Lakers, it was the Bucks.
Listen,
That's
I have
fair.
a question. I have a quick question, because we talked about Phoenix and the asterisks beside them, and I know what happened with Brooklyn, but all in all,
there's no asterisk beside.
You
Milwaukee.
think it's legit? I think it's legit.
Yeah.
Because they had to go through
obviously-
legit teams.
Obviously,
Yes.
Brooklyn was a bit injury plagued, but the first two rounds they went through real. The first two rounds they went through real teams.
Atlanta earned their way there. They beat a fully healthy number 1 seed Philadelphia 76ers. Like, that tells
And
you
then-
they're the second best team. Like,
And then the Bucks
what I mean?
literally lost the first two games of the finals and then steamrolled them. And it's not like they made it. They didn't make it anywhere close.
They Toronto Raptors the hell out of them.
Totally.
Basically.
And like, I think that they're deserving of it. I think that they played more meaningful basketball than the Suns did.
Yeah, and
And-
honestly, the difference is
Can we-
that. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, before we get like into the analysis of it, because we'll break it down a little bit. Because we'll get into takeaways and everything. But before we get into anything, and this is kind of my last jab, or unless other shit comes up, fuck every single person who said the Suns had a better team. Because
Oh,
your
yeah.
head was,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
no,
you're
fuck
retarded.
your ass.
so
Like,
dumb.
no.
Your head was so far up your fucking ass, you were almost seeing out the other side, man. Like,
There
that
was
is
so many people that
fucking
hopped on that
shit.
hype train as if they were gonna fucking kill them, and I didn't understand it.
no
Like,
chance.
so many people
Okay.
were saying Suns. Like,
The Suns-
Lakers.
The Suns would not have beaten any team that came out of the East. The Suns would not have beaten Brooklyn. The Suns did not beat Milwaukee, and the Suns would not have beaten Philadelphia.
No.
No
And listen,
chance.
Listen, like, had Phoenix beaten a fully healthy Lakers squad, which, look, I could have seen them doing. The Lakers are
Maybe.
an aging squad with some underperforming role players. You know, LeBron can only do so much. But I don't think they beat the Clippers. I don't think they beat a fully healthy Nuggets team.
At least they don't sweep them.
And everyone says, oh, like, they've beaten legitimate teams. But they've beaten fractions of these legitimate teams.
They've beaten like half of like legitimate teams
Yes, DeAndre Ayton came out and proved himself as a legitimate center against
shit teams.
defensively
Nicholas
inept
Batum.
Nikola Jokic. Yeah, Nicholas Batum
And Nicholas
and-
Batum.
My bad.
And-
I always do that.
and Vika Zubac and fucking like
They literally
The games that the Clippers won, Zubac played. Zubac didn't even play in the games they lost. He played in one that they lost. So
the Clippers beat the number 1 seed Jazz without Zubac. Like, they said, go take a seat. We got this, bud. And they went and beat them. And I
without
know I'm
Serge
not, like,
Ibaka too. We got to
exactly.
remember that.
And listen, I know I'm the statistician, but I don't need to bring up stats to tell you that the Phoenix Suns were one of the most illegitimate finals teams to ever get there.
I think ever. I think they are
Yeah.
that most illegitimate team ever, because you didn't see it in
And
the
look-
80s and the 90s.
and look,
As
it's
much
not to
as
say
there's-
they're a bad
because
team.
there was
They're
fucking
not.
Black Jesus tearing
Yeah.
through people.
They're not a bad team, but I'm telling you, in a fully like 82 games, we turn off injuries or whatever.
Yeah,
We-
no.
we-
They're
Yeah,
a fifth
the
seed
Suns-
at best. They're a
At
fifth
best,
seed.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't even
playing,
think-
they're playing for home court advantage. Like,
And I would say the same thing about the Utah Jazz. They're a 5-6 team at best.
And you know
I
what it
think
is?
Utah is
And
a
you know what
better
it is? 'Cause
team,
I keep saying it, and I'm sorry to cut you off again, Brent, but we've talked because we have talked about it before, and we did get into long discussions about it when we talked about who the legitimate contenders were, and we talked about how regular season basketball does not matter. And that is your point in case right here, and that the Milwaukee Bucks had their worst season under Mike Budenholzer that they have in the 3 years with him as coach, and went on to play their best playoff basketball under Mike Budenholzer. And yeah, they had some different personnel, but the Phoenix Suns went out there and hauled ass all regular season, beat up on these teams that, yeah, they should have beaten, but beat up on good teams as well, earned the second seed, earned it, but then went and when they finally met a legitimate battle-tested playoff team that was fully capable of beating them, they got their asses handed to them in 6 games. But they got
totally walked. And the first 2 games they won were at home in a finals where there was one player that had finals experience. That was it.
Oh no. And the best player on their team had a hyperextended knee not even a week ago.
Exactly. See, in my opinion, I think that if the first 2 games were in Milwaukee, they could have swept them.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think home court advantage for those teams, especially in those crowds, like
at least in 5.
Milwaukee.
I mean, the games in Phoenix were definitely a little bit closer, but at the same time, like, it's hard to win on the road, and I think that
It
like
is.
it's hard to win on the road. It's harder than it is to win.
But
at home.
my point, those first 2 games, I think Milwaukee wins them. They're in their prime mode, like they're ready to go, going into the Phoenix Suns building, and I think they take at least one of those games, and then they finish it in Milwaukee.
I think
in 5.
The thing I love, because you talk about like the home crowd factor, the thing I love about small market teams, and this is one of my takeaways. We'll get to some of the takeaways in a little bit, but small market teams have the best fans. And I
agree.
We talked to this Utah Jazz guy about how he thought like Jazz fans were hated on and got a bad rap. And maybe that's from like some big market teams or teams that like get a lot of media coverage, maybe say that. But like, look, teams like Utah and Phoenix and Milwaukee, where there's not a lot else going on or not a lot of media coverage, like these guys,
especially not in Milwaukee with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams leaving.
Politely shut the fuck up. Politely shut the fuck up. You have your giant hat on. You're gonna like point.
Dude, I wear my Giants hat everywhere. But yes. The hot take: Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are both coming to the Giants.
Yeah, hot take. Luke had more Miller Lights than I did tonight, and he doesn't even have any in his house.
You're buying me a 2-4 if that happens. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, okay. I'll actually agree. I will agree to that. But anyways, the home crowd.
You just took a bet with no benefit.
Exactly. That's why I went like this.
It's not going to happen though. Like
because it's realistically it's not going to happen.
I know, but like on the off chance it does, Luke doesn't lose anything.
Exactly.
I'll happily.
I'll gain 2 things. I will gain a much better football team. A much better football team to watch, and a free 2-4 for Brendan. That would actually end up being 36 because you owe me 12. If you want to do some quick math.
Do you want to just like compound the interest, Luke, and wait until that eventually happens someday, and then you
turns into like 4
36er? Yeah. Eventually, you get like 2 2-4s. But no, the home crowd advantage for these small market teams, especially these inexperienced finals teams, meant so much.
Totally, and that's why I think the Suns won those first 2 games. Like I don't think that happens, and I don't think Milwaukee loses 2 games to the Suns if they've already won 2 games in the series, because I feel like that home crowd factor is so much more important for that game 1 and game 2 than it is later in the series once you're more comfortable in the situation. You felt the team out. You didn't play the team a whole lot in the regular season because you're in a different conference, and I think that the home crowd just means so much more in those first 2 games, and obviously that's why home court advantage is a thing, but that's why I think that is.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have what are your takeaways from the finals? Just opinions, like what did you learn? What are your
Fear the deer.
Fear the fucking deer, baby.
Fear the deer.
Giannis proved himself.
We learned that Giannis can perform in playoff scenarios. I think if you score 50 points in a finals game and have over 10 rebounds, like that's just like not everyone does that.
I'll rephrase it. Because we know Giannis had playoff demons, as did most of that team. Giannis has now become a constant.
You know what else?
Yeah.
You know what else I've taken away from the finals? Drew Holiday has been underrated his entire career.
That whole team, I would say
that whole team, but especially Drew Holiday.
Yes.
Especially Drew Holiday.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is that Drew Holiday had a great defensive season this year. But it's not like he hasn't been put in that position before where he's guarded the best players on teams. He's done that almost his whole career.
Totally. And you put him in those situations in the NBA finals, and he was taking the ball from Devin Booker and Chris Paul every chance he got.
And you know what? He's a dog too on the offensive end, like with the offensive rebound.
That dirty lob he tossed to Giannis over 2 guys. Like
I'm not even talking about scoring and passing. I'm talking about doing the dirty work, jumping up over the fucking big man and getting rebounds against Ayton. getting
Dude,
rebounds against Crowder. Like that,
You'd see him like
not-
swing in from behind the fucking arc and be jumping up for rebounds and
exactly.
shit. Like,
And
Drew
he's
Holiday
6'4".
is
He's not
fucking-
that tall.
Drew Holiday's for real. Drew Holiday
The
is for real.
Milwaukee Bucks rebounded almost 40% of their offensive rebound chances throughout the entire
That's
series.
fucking
Which is
crazy.
And
nuts.
let me tell you,
That's
and
crazy.
let me tell you, Brooke Lopez averaged almost 26 minutes per game in the series. So when you imagine that it's Giannis Antetokounmpo and PJ Tucker at your forward spots trying to crash the offensive glass, and you have DeAndre fucking Ayton who can't out rebound Giannis and PJ Tucker, that says something about the will to win, and it says something about the effort that's being given. And
Totally.
that's when it comes to say that, like, and this is one of my other takeaways, is, and it was kind of about Giannis as well, is there's nothing the Suns could have done. But there's nothing, I don't think there's much of anything. If you're out there and you're working harder than someone else, there's not much you can do other than work harder. And the Suns couldn't do that. They had 6 games, and you know what? Unfortunately, they couldn't do it for 4 of them. So that's why I think, like, should PJ Tucker be out rebounding even Jay Crowder or DeAndre Ayton? Hell
Probably not. He's a
Oh.
dog. He is a dog. I do like
Yeah.
PJ Tucker just for that sense. But I think the guy's
Yeah.
rated a 74 in 2K. Like, he's not a great player by any means.
No. The Bucks will now finally, and this kind of brings it back to the point, finally get the credit they deserve as the most complete team in the NBA, and it's not close.
Yeah.
Agreed. They have everything that they need.
Are they the best team in the NBA? I don't think. No, they wouldn't. I don't think you beat a healthy Brooklyn squad. I can't wait to see that matchup if that happens next year.
I'm sure it will. I'd be shocked if it didn't.
I would love to see Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden out with a vengeance against that squad, and I would love to see how they try and stop Giannis, because I don't think they'll get a center, or I don't think they'll get anyone capable of stopping him.
So this is I have a question about that for you guys. Is this the rise of the Eastern Conference that we haven't really seen?
No. No,
No.
not a chance.
You don't think so? You don't think
Because as much as I
what
love that the Bucks, you're saying, is this like the start of the Eastern Conference being better than the Western Conference? That's what
or
you're
at
trying to
least not being better necessarily, but like getting to the same level, because we've always hated on the East, and I think in the next 10 years the Eastern Conference could win 5 out of 10 chips.
I think that the Eastern Conference is showing us that they're moving in that direction, but I think when you still have the majority of the super teams in the West, once everyone's healthy, it's still not even going to be close. You know what I mean? Because like you take the 3 best teams in the East, in my opinion, are Philadelphia, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. Any debates
totally.
in that? Any debates in that? And then, in my opinion, the 3 best teams.
I might say Toronto, but
in my opinion, the 3 best teams in the West, barring injuries, are the Lakers, the Clippers, and then the Nuggets, probably.
Yeah. I would have to
probably.
Barring any injury, I would say the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Nuggets.
I think the Suns would be my 4th. Like, that
Okay.
would be the
So
Nuggets.
listen. So those 6 teams.
I'd say the Warriors all healthy got to be in there.
Okay, well, just for the
I
sake of
think
the
we
argument,
gotta do what they
take those 6 teams and get rid of them. Which one's more competitive? Which ones has the better teams?
I think Brooklyn's the best team.
Out of the East and the West.
Take the top 3
Brooklyn.
teams from each conference out, and who has the more competitive
the
conference?
West.
Oh, no,
exactly.
totally.
Exactly.
But when I'm saying that, I mean, like, with the top 3 teams, does the East win 5 out of 10 chips, or 4 out of 10 chips, or 6 out of 10 chips?
I don't think the Brooklyn Nets measure the total quality of the Eastern Conference, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
not
do
what
I
I'm
think-
saying at all.
If you're asking me if in the next 10 years you think that the Eastern Conference is going to win more chips than the Western Conference, I would have to say no. Even given the current situation, I would have to say no. But you never know. A lot can change in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot can change in 10
Well,
years.
totally. But
we look at like the top 3, and I argue Brooklyn, Milwaukee, the team that just won the championship, and Philadelphia, are they better than the LAs and the Nuggets? Right now, given recency bias, I'd have to say the abilities of the Bucks and the Nets outweigh the LA teams right now. And
Yeah.
I think the top 3, in my opinion, in the East are currently better than the West. But that doesn't account for the whole conference. And I know championships can be sort of a measuring
pinnacle.
stick. Yeah, it can be measuring. When we look at 15 teams in each conference, we have to look at it at like on the other side too. Like Orlando, those teams are
No, I
way
totally
worse
do
than-
agree with you that
Yes.
when it
I
comes
think
down
in
to it,
terms
the
of
West is
overall
deeper.
15 teams. Yes, 15 teams, the West is better than the East. Do I think
Yes, I
there's
totally agree
some-
with that.
But that's not me going to say like, oh, the top 3 championship contenders come from the West, because that's not true. I just think when we're talking about, is this the rise of the Eastern Conference in terms of, when you say in terms of championships, maybe, because there's a team out there in Brooklyn who might win a few. But are we talking about the Eastern Conference being the more dominant conference and beating up on West teams? No, I don't think that's going to happen yet. It might happen soon. I don't think it's going to happen yet.
Yeah, I totally agree. But what I was talking about was more for like a 10-year span, we kind of saw the West just absolutely dominate the East in playoffs. And I'm kind of thinking that might not happen, other than obviously LeBron's Cavs and Heat.
It's hard to say, because I think this is the way the NBA is going. We won't really be able to tell which conference is the most dominant until we see teams reseeded from 1 through 16 in the playoffs.
Yeah, totally. Because that'll be interesting to see. Because
I think that's definitely going to be a way the NBA goes, just to put more merit into the regular season and create more competitive basketball.
Totally.
Because then your 1 through 8s necessarily don't matter as much, but you're playing to play the 16th best team in the NBA, and not, say, if you're in the West, you're not playing the 8th best team in the West, which we saw was the Grizzlies, but pushed the Jazz to 5 or 6 games.
Another thing I just thought of is like, look at the draft order. Like, of the top 5 picks, I'm pretty sure they're all Eastern Conference teams. Other than the Warriors have number 7. So like, yeah,
the Warriors have 7. It's Houston's got 2. And they're out in the
right.
West.
Sorry, Houston has 2.
Orlando has OKC has. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure of the top 5 picks, I think the only one that's in the West is Houston.
Yeah, because Orlando has.
That is a
Orlando's
lottery
5 and
though.
8, and Toronto has.
That's
Yeah,
not
but it's based off the
But it's
worst
based
teams
on
in the
record.
NBA though.
Yeah,
It's based on the worst teams in the
No,
NBA.
I know, but it's still not ordered in that worst to best. It's still a lottery.
You take the worst teams and then lottery.
We had the
we
had the Raptors jump up.
Fair. I don't know. The Raptors are pretty shit this year.
Like I get what you're saying, but the Raptors aren't a bottom 4 team, and they have a top 4 pick.
Fair enough.
I think we're gonna see the rise. Well, not only that, the rise of the small market team in the NBA is real. Small market teams will no longer. I don't think they're gonna struggle as much.
No,
because it's more players are more interested in winning championships at this point now than going. And some people want to go to the glitzy markets, but I think they're more interested in winning championships. And I think now we've seen small market teams go up against these big market teams and feel encouraged that they can do it and are going to be more aggressive in doing so.
totally.
Because we've seen Milwaukee do it, and now they're an NBA champion. We saw Toronto do it, and I know like Toronto, relative to other American markets, isn't as big of a market or destination, but we saw them, consistently winning and took a chance on their core and acquired Kawhi and won. They rolled the dice, and really, I think if I don't think the Raptors could have done more. I think Kawhi just wanted to go home, and that's why Kawhi left more than anything.
Yeah.
I think the other thing
wasn't there that offer out there that like they could have traded a bunch of stuff for Paul George and Kawhi would have stayed? Like there was that rumor.
It was like Russell Westbrook and Paul George for like Siakam, Lowry, and like a bunch of picks. I think. I don't know.
As a Raptors.
That would be awesome. That would be the greatest team.
Awesome.
That would probably be the greatest team the Raptors have ever had.
That would be so cool.
Far and away.
That would be crazy.
Yeah. And I think we even saw it on a smaller scale with Phoenix this year, and a team that was ready to take the leap and took a chance in Chris Paul. And I think it's hard to see why. I think it's hard to see why he wouldn't stay. To be honest with you now, because his whole goal is chasing rings, and unless he wants to go back to LA, there's probably not much of a better opportunity for him out there than Phoenix.
See, personally, I think he could probably find a team that's not LA, where he might have a better chance of winning.
But a team that's gonna like go out there and get him, or give up what it takes to get him, and that like pay up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because you got to pay this 36-year-old point guard money, and not only that, but now this 36-year-old point guard who has a proven resume of and as much of it isn't his fault, but yeah, choking because he had bad games. He had some horrible games, and that's
well, yeah. That is what it comes down to. I mean, at the end of the day, I do think Chris Paul is a good player. I don't really see him as a playoff performer as much as I might have. I never really did, to be honest. I've never been a Chris Paul fan. No. I just really don't like him now. And to be honest, I think somebody would take a chance on him that's like on the cusp. But I don't know who that would be, but I don't think it'll be the Lakers.
I think Chris Paul has shown the ability to elevate teams that are on the verge, or he's shown the ability to elevate young players and make them better than a better product. Do I think the Phoenix Suns would be as successful without him? No, but I think the Phoenix Suns are going to be more successful now because of him, whether he's there or not.
Yeah, I 110%. Like you can't say that he's not good for teams like that. Like he's proven it numerous times. I just don't think he's a playoff performer. And I think that if he wants to win a chip, he can't stay with the Suns. He's got to know that they're not good.
I think he's got to know, but at the same time, like that's the closest he's come to a championship, and it's also probably the most appreciation he's gotten in a long time as a player. So I think that has to mean something, I would imagine.
Yeah, yes and no. I think it does, but at the same time, I just, to him, if he wants to win a championship, which I think is his ultimate goal, I don't think it's going to be done by staying in Phoenix.
I think you're right too. I just don't know how much winning that championship means to him, rather than going to an LA and getting scrutinized or something. I don't know what he wants to deal with, or what sacrifices he wants to make in order to win.
Yes, I agree. I just think at some point, if he wants to win a championship, which he has, I don't think he said it, but we assume that's his goal. He hasn't won one yet. It's one of the top 10 greatest point guards of all time. Like, he's got to go to a contender, and I'm sorry, the Suns are not one.
No, next year, barring injuries, I don't think they're not going to be an A-list tier 1 contender. I think you're right there. Yeah, you know what? I know you're right there. They're not. I don't know. I will have to kind of wait and see on that one. But I guess my last question is to you guys quickly. Is that, and this is kind of why I said fuck you to everyone else who didn't see this coming, is that no one saw this coming. And I want to say no one saw this coming except maybe Luke and I, and Brent, I'll throw you in there too, because you did say the Bucks were going to win. Why? Why the fuck did no one see this coming?
Well, because they played against the Brooklyn Nets. Because the second that they got the second that people knew that they were going to have,
I think he was talking about while they were playing the Suns.
No, not even that. No, not even that. We can say that, because that's why I said maybe not Brent so much.
I think that it was a mix.
See this coming?
I think it was a mix of people always have thought the Bucks have traditionally not been great in the playoffs, and they've had a little bit of a playoff monkey on their back. And I think that was part of it. And I think it was also part of it that when the thing came out and they said they were going to have to go through Brooklyn, everyone was all like, well, no one's beating Brooklyn, so Milwaukee's doesn't have a fucking chance. And then I think when they beat Brooklyn, then it was like, oh, okay, the Bucks are picking up steam here.
Well, and then they had to play the Hawks and
when Kawhi went out and the Clippers lost, everyone was like, I think was like, okay. Everyone except for Phoenix fans were like, yeah, okay, it's over.
But there was a lot of people that still took Phoenix that weren't Phoenix.
Yeah,
fans.
like a lot of experts, I'll call them experts, because that's what they do for a living, predicted that the Suns would win that series. And I don't know if that was with the assumption Giannis was going to play or not. But with the word coming out that Giannis was going to play in a potential Game 7 against the Hawks, you have to imagine that there was an idea that he was going to play in the finals no matter what. And ultimately, he ended up playing. I think that was obviously it's the finals. It's a given. He's going to play. If he absolutely can't play, he wouldn't play. But why? Like, you have miles and miles away the best player in the series. As much respect as Chris Paul deserves, Devin Booker, they're not Giannis. They're not what is now the face of the league.
No, they're not a top. They don't have a top 3 player in the league.
No, and
but then again, only 3 teams do.
Exactly.
Yes,
but that's what I'm saying.
But for a franchise like in Milwaukee, like for people to go out and say, oh yeah, like when they go say, oh maybe Chris Paul is better than Drew Holiday. Maybe they have the advantage there, or hey, a guy in Devin Booker who is putting up similar numbers, well, better numbers than Chris Middleton, but on way worse efficiency. And DeAndre Ayton, Brook Lopez, I get that, but to say those two and DeAndre Ayton's value over Brook Lopez outweigh the backbone of the Milwaukee Bucks franchise is completely stupid. Because at the end of the day, talent and top end talent outweighs just about everything else in the playoffs. And what did they have? They had probably the best defensive player in the NBA this year, in the playoffs at least, Drew Holiday.
Totally. In the playoffs for sure.
They had one of the most clutch shooters in crunch time in the entire NBA, Middleton.
And he really proved that in the finals. Like he was lights out in the fourth quarter every single game. So
and for people who said
Jesus.
that guy's and for people who said Luke's passionate about this, I'm glad he is. But a guy in Chris Middleton who had questions about his star status.
Chris Middleton looked more. I'm sorry, I hate to say this. You're gonna hate me, but Chris Middleton looked more like Kobe than Booker did.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Because who made the shots when that's really needed to be made? Chris Middleton did. Who scored the most fourth quarter crunch time points in the entire series and the postseason? Chris Middleton did. Who was
his field goal percentage was off the fucking charts too.
Yeah. Who set like the playoff record for fourth quarter points? Chris Middleton did. And I'm sorry, as good as Devin Booker's postseason was, we didn't see him do that. We didn't see him play defense.
We saw him fuck around. We saw him fuck around in the fourth quarter and lose them a couple really key possessions.
Yeah.
But my favorite part of the entire finals night was when Giannis was getting interviewed and he looked over at Chris and just went,
"We did it, Chris!
Chris, we did it, man. We did it, Chris." It was awesome. I fucking loved that.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Because those two went from two of the worst players in 2K to the best and NBA fucking champions. I guess we talked about Giannis and how he has now gotten the monkey off his back, and very rightly so with the finals performance that he had. Do you guys have any opinion about where you want to rank Giannis's finals performance all time compared to others?
I'm just gonna say top 5. I don't want. Yeah,
top 5 in the league right now.
No,
like
his finals
appearance
performance.
Oh, like his finals performance all time.
I'd probably put it at number 5. Yeah.
I'll read them off to you because I want to put Giannis above 2016 LeBron so badly.
Careful. Careful.
I can't find it in myself to piss you off to do that right now, Luke. So you're welcome.
We can do that in
but-
the off season if you want.
Yeah, but Dwayne Wade, 2006, averaged 34.7 points, 7.8 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 2.7 steals, and 1 block per game. I have him at number 5. That wasn't exactly a star-studded finals. His best teammate was Shaq, who was over the hill at that point. But that was like a young Flash Wade coming into his own in the finals, and it was really great to see him elevate his game.
I can't believe
But
he
that's
scored a
not-
51-point game. Like that's just fucking crazy.
In the
Who's
clinching
that?
In the elimination game. Well, not for that. but, like,
Giannis
Yeah.
or Wade?
Giannis.
Okay. We're talking about like I'm talking about whole series right now. But yes, Giannis, I will argue right now with anyone that Giannis probably had the single greatest finals performance of all time. Considering the circumstance.
The final game, yes.
Yes, greatest single game finals performance of all time. You can't really argue with what he did.
No.
I'm number 4. I have 2000 Shaq. That was when we had a young Kobe beating Bryant, averaged 15.7 points in the finals, and Shaq averaged 38 points, 16.7 rebounds, 2.3 assists. Easily the best version of Shaq we've ever seen, and frankly enough, the inspiration for my number 3, the 2021 version of Giannis, with 35.2 points, 13.2 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.8 blocks, and 1.2 steals on 62% shooting. And I had to put it in there after suffering a hyperextended knee. 2016 LeBron was my number 2. I don't think we need to talk about that. It was pretty much a near triple-double, like 30 points, 11.5 rebounds, 9 assists, 2.6 steals, 2.3 blocks. The only player ever to lead his team in all 5 major statistical categories in the finals.
And come back from
players,
a 3-1 series lead in the finals.
Against what was considered to be the greatest team of all time. I think it's absolute bullshit, and we'll talk about that in the offseason. Because I think the next version of the Warriors in 2016-17 was actually better than the fucking 2014-15 team. And then number 1, you can't really argue this, and I don't know if you guys know this, but the last time the Phoenix Suns were in an NBA Finals, there was a guy named Michael Jordan who actually played against them and absolutely annihilated league MVP Charles Barkley for 41 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, and 6.3 assists. And you will never see another finals performance like that.
And I took that personally.
Yep.
And I took that personally.
And in the game 6, when they went to clinch it in Phoenix, Jordan scored 19 fourth quarter points and 16 points in a row to clinch that game. And I don't think you'll ever see a more clutch, clutch as Giannis was. That is clutch. Yeah. And he took it personally, and he went out there and he hauled ass. And that's why Jordan gets my number 1.
Giannis was clutch in a different way. He was clutch on defense.
Giannis,
I feel a debate coming.
No, I'm not going to say he was better or more clutch. I'm just saying Giannis was very, very clutch in that series. Though.
No, I think in terms of what needed to be done, and that's what we talk about. Clutch is what needs to be done on both ends. Giannis came up and did exactly what he needed to on both ends.
Totally.
The reason,
but when it came down to hitting shots in clutch time, it was Middleton though.
Yes.
Well, he's the finisher, and he proved that in the first round against the Heat.
Totally.
The reason.
What was your prediction for that series again?
Shut up.
No, I forget. My mind just seems to have slipped it. What was your prediction?
Have to understand where
I was just asking what your prediction was.
Let's hear it. The fans
I wasn't trying to chirp. I was just asking.
No, I know. You do have to understand where my prediction was coming from. The Heat were in the NBA Finals the year before, and the Bucks did have a history of not being amazing in the playoffs.
The Heat had their number. I'll give you that. The Heat had their number, and you know what? I totally remember this. And Luke, I think you can back me up. I totally remember arguing with someone in the comments. I totally remember arguing. They're like, "You're not seeing the point here about the Miami Heat." And I said, "You're not seeing the point about the Milwaukee Bucks." And I get to settle my vengeance because the Miami Heat feared the deer.
Did they lose in 4 or 5?
They lost in
Four.
4.
They did lose in 4.
The Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets now have to fear the deer. The Atlanta Hawks fear the deer. And you know who else fears the deer? The rest of the fucking NBA. That's why.
Yeah. Do you know who fears Trae Young? Ben Simmons.
Who's that?
Just a little jab for the Philly fans. Just a little jab.
Every episode.
They've had a tough day. They gave away way too much for 2 old defensemen, so I'm gonna give them. I'm just gonna turn the knife
from the hockey side over that.
Just gonna turn the knife a little bit.
A nice place to kind of end that sort of finals playoffs.
I would agree.
Put that all to bed. Is
congratulations
nice
to the Milwaukee Bucks. I was very happy. They deserved it, and I think
no asterisk.
That's everything. No asterisk.
Yeah, no asterisks.
The only arguable asterisk is the Brooklyn series.
Fair enough, but I think that anyone, and if it like, it's been a timeless quote. If anyone was gonna beat Brooklyn, it was gonna be Milwaukee.
It's the Milwaukee Bucks. And you know what? The champion was coming out of that series, and I'm gonna say that
totally.
100%. Yeah, especially after Philly lost, definitely,
and especially after Kawhi went down, because I do think that team could have made
that would have been an exciting series to see the full health Clippers against the Bucks. That would have been exciting
because we've seen Kawhi on Giannis before.
Yep.
But then Drew and Middleton would have had more space. So you never really know, right?
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see how Reggie played on Drew.
Yeah.
Because PG would have covered Middleton, obviously.
We'd probably be waiting for the next game, to be honest. I could see that series going 7.
I love that Clippers team. I thought they were going to win the chip, to be honest.
Let me say this first. You said you'd be interested to see how Reggie plays on Drew Holiday. Is Reggie a better offensive player than CP3?
No, I wasn't saying that he'd do well. Reggie, I just would have been interested to see how that played out, because that would have been
like how Reggie's postseason, because he had a good postseason, but how that would have fared up against Drew Holiday. Yeah.
And it would have been fun to watch, I think, because that would have been the mismatch.
Yeah.
The defensive Megatron of Drew Holiday would have swallowed the fuck out of him. That's all.
Yeah, but I don't think Reggie would be playing a whole lot. I don't think he would be holding the ball that often, to be honest with you.
No, and honestly, I think Drew Holiday would. I don't know where Drew Holiday would be if they tried.
He'd have to be on PG, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. But maybe we'll get into that next kind of before next season if we look at a preview, and then when we actually nail down our predictions or something, so we can.
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah.
I think that series would have been a lot more fun than the Suns series, and I didn't like seeing this. I honestly, I said it at the start of the series, this wasn't going to be a fun series, and I really don't think it was. I think Giannis made it kind of fun.
No,
I think Giannis made it fun, but I don't think
that was the most engaged I've been since the Raptors final. I know that was only like 2 years ago, but that is the most engaged I've been in an NBA finals in a long time, aside from the Raptors. Because look, Warriors
last year.
That's great.
Well, you're a Lakers fan. You can take your Mickey Routes ring.
Actually, honestly, I'd say probably 2009. I was more hyped than last year, but last year I was still pretty hyped.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, any other news going around the league, Beck, that you want to bring up?
Yeah, actually, I guess that's a good thing to talk about. Just some rumor mill stuff. The Warriors want to make Bradley Beal a top priority if he becomes available.
Jesus,
that would be gross.
Steph, Clay, and Dre have told GM Bob Myers that they want the team to use his 2 upcoming lottery picks, 7 and 14, in this draft to add a player capable of helping them win a championship. Bradley Beal would certainly be that guy.
Yeah, but I don't see.
I thought they were targeting Dame too.
No.
I don't see them moving.
And that was the next thing, is they will also go after Damian Lillard should he want out of Portland.
I still don't see either of those guys coming to Golden State without Clay leaving. I don't see it happening.
Because I don't think you trade Dre. Like, frankly, I don't think Dre really excels.
Dre doesn't have a lot. Like, he's never played for another team, has he?
No,
like I think Dre would be. I think that Dre would be too much of a gamble for those 2 solid superstar NBA players. I think that it would have to at least involve Clay. Probably 2 more players, and then probably some draft picks too.
I think
you're undervaluing Clay a little bit.
Would undervalue him?
Undervaluing Clay.
What? How am I undervalued? I'm saying that they would not. I'm saying that the team trading the superstar would not make a trade that didn't involve Clay.
No, I know,
That's
but I
what
don't
I'm
think
saying.
they'd get 2 other players and draft picks. Maybe for Dame.
For Damian Lillard, yes,
not
they
for
fucking
Beal.
would.
Not for
I
Beal.
mean,
For Beal, I don't know. Beal's been a all NBA last year.
I don't know.
Clay's coming off a
I
bad
would
injury history.
I would at least give away Clay, and I would at least not trade for anything less than Clay, another guy, and 2 draft picks for Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
Who that other guy is, I don't really know, but
No.
I would not be
I
giving
don't-
Bradley Beal away for anything less than that. And
The
I would
other
still
thing
try to
is-
milk another player or draft pick out of it.
I was gonna say too, like I don't know if what other players you can bring into the Warriors. I'm thinking players available right now, like that would elevate them to a tier 1 championship contender.
They could use an elite big man, but
Ben Simmons. Ben
No.
Simmons.
Offensive.
Actually, I'm not.
That
I'm
could
not
work,
Actually, I'm
actually.
actually
He would
not
he would
kidding you.
quit. He would quit the NBA if they made him play center. He would quit.
yeah, I agree with that.
No, because honestly, he would go play in Australia or something, and he would be like the Jeremy Lin of Australia. Like he would probably be the most popular player and make
He'd
fair
go
cash.
to the Australian version of the Shanghai Sharks.
Yeah, no, legitimately, he probably would. He's like, fuck this, I don't want to play center.
Yeah, in his Aussie accent or whatever.
Does he even have an
the
Aussie
po-
accent?
I think somewhat. I think
A little bit, not really, but like a little bit.
No, because he's been in America like long enough that he really
Fair
knows
enough.
at this point. Yeah. The Portland Trailblazers have been rejecting offers of first-round picks for CJ McCollum as they intend to compete for a championship next year and hope to add veteran talent. Lillard said he doesn't disagree that maybe new head coach Chauncey Billups can change the team and make them better, but he feels that the roster doesn't scream championship contender. I think Portland's another team for me. It's a small market team that has screamed consistently successful for a while, but they need to gamble. They need to take a big gamble, and they need to go out and get a big player. They
They got to do what the Raptors did with Kawhi.
Yes, exactly.
And then they need a lot of postseason luck too.
Yeah, but again, they're not getting a star player without giving up CJ, unless they're like in the last year of their career and the team's trying to get as much as they can for them. But I don't see like whose contracts are up next year.
A lot of players.
Like
No, like who's the
Next-
who's on the last year of their contract this coming season?
A lot of players.
I don't know.
Kawhi.
No, Kawhi's on the last year of his contract this year. He's a free agent this year.
He's a free agent.
No
No one cares because they know he's going to
Okay.
resign. But like,
I think LeBron is a player.
Steph?
Like LeBron is a player option. Steph is a player option. Yes.
LeBron resigned when AD did. Didn't
Beal's going into the last year of his contract. Other than that, I can't name you other guys right now. But I know there would be.
We did a free agent list. There's a bunch of guys. Like there's
for this season,
lower
for this
level
coming
guys.
for this free agency, Brett. We haven't done that. We haven't done next year. We haven't
right.
done-
Yes.
Yes.
But if they're contending for a championship this season, they need to get someone now.
yes, but someone that has one more year that isn't.
Yes.
you brought up
or
you brought up
trade
the
bait.
Raptors. You brought up the Raptors.
Yeah,
Kawhi
trade
thing, so I
bait.
was
Yeah,
just
you're right,
interested
you're
to
right.
know who would have been
Yes.
like who's on the last year of
Yeah,
their
you're right.
contract.
No. Yeah. But yeah, no. They and you know what? Kawhi is as good a fit as he is for anyone. Kawhi is a good fit for the Blazers because that's exactly what they need.
Yeah,
He's just
besides-
not
that
going to go
would
to
be-
the Blazers. I
that
don't
would be
see
nasty.
happening.
That would be
Besides-
nasty.
That would be
Besides,
gross.
my personal favorite is if they could hang, depending on what they could hang on to, would be Karl Anthony Towns. That would be my next. That would be my second
Yeah.
favorite.
I don't personally see that happening.
He's a
without
pussy,
CJ.
man. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't like Carl. I don't like Cat that much, man. Like he's a
I
good
don't know,
player,
man.
obviously. Like he's an NBA player,
Yeah.
but like he just, but like
He puts up
Minnesota,
fantasy numbers
Minnesota,
for me.
Minnesota has ruined him.
I think there's one of two
Yeah.
ways it goes with Cat. He either gets out of Minnesota and does really well, or he goes absolutely in the garbage.
I don't know. I think it's more like a Devin Booker type thing where he puts up the numbers, but it doesn't matter because he's
Meaningless
consistently playing
basketball.
for a bad team.
Meaningless
Yes, he's
basketball.
consistently playing meaningless basketball. So he won't kind of get the value that he deserves until he does that in a winning environment.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm saying if he goes to a winning environment, I don't know how well that would go for him because he is the guy for Minnesota,
Yeah.
and he seems
He's
like
their
kinda,
only guy.
so
And
basically
they traded for
what I'm
D'Angelo
saying is
Russell to try and like help him. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think him going anywhere with championship intentions. I don't know if he'd be a good fit because I don't know how he would do with not being the guy. I don't know if his personality would fit well with that. A lot of players don't.
He's never played meaningful basketball in his career. He has never played meaningful basketball.
Besides like the one postseason he played with when Jimmy was there. But like then again,
Right.
like you said, Damian Lillard wouldn't be the guy to just cuss out Cat and call him soft. Like I think he would excel in that situation. And that would be easily the best pick and roll duo in the league. That'd be the best pick and pop duo in the league right there with Damian Lillard and Cat. That'd be disgusting. But yeah, no, I think Jimmy Butler's a bad example if we're going to talk about how he's playing when he's not the guy, because Jimmy was the guy, but Jimmy was also an asshole and someone who doesn't get along with every teammate he plays with. But yeah, I don't know. That was just one that I had interest in. And that maybe I'd be pretty excited if it did happen.
It would be fun to watch. It's just I don't personally know if it would work, is my point.
No. Yeah. The New York Knicks have extended GM Scott Perry for an additional 2 years after he oversaw the draft and development of R.J. Barrett, as well as the team-friendly signing of Julius Randle to a 3-year, $60.1 million deal. Not too much to come from that. It's just nice that the Knicks are having a semblance of success. Yeah.
It looks like they were happy with how the season went this year, and they're trying to carry that forward.
Yep.
They're far from being contenders, but
yeah. Getting back to the T-Wolves a little bit, the sale of the T-Wolves has been formally approved to e-commerce businessman Mark Lore and former New York Yankee Alex Rodriguez. The first part of Anthony Edwards is going to have to do some. They're going to be taking a lot of drugs, and Anthony Edwards is going to have to figure out who Alex Rodriguez is. The first part of the transfer and shares has begun with a 20% stake being transferred to the two of them, with options for each of them to purchase an additional 20% in 2022 and 2023. So they are going to kind of co-own this thing. Obviously, like A-Rod, lost a lot of money because,
dude, A-Rod's going to go to practice. It's like, teach me how to play.
A-Rod's gonna walk into like the trainer's room or whatever, like, hey, I got the secret sauce for the players.
To give you an idea, he just bought a basketball team, and the first headline that comes up when you look up A-Rod is literally Alex Rodriguez slides into single life with a bevy of bikini-clad women. So
that's amazing.
So I mean, this guy's got other stuff going on in his life, clearly.
At least the Minnesota Timberwolves are gonna get some headlines now. It might not be for the right reasons.
It'll be for their general manager.
Yeah. Alex Rodriguez slides back into single life on yacht in France.
Nice. Minnesota Timberwolves, everyone. The Los Angeles Lakers, Luke, have begun to draw up their offseason plans for the point guard, the first item on their list. Both Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook are being considered in trade scenarios. Good or bad?
You know what? I think both of those guys, if they get signed to the Lakers, will fit them really well. I think if Russ can figure out how to shoot a little bit better than he's been shooting, I think that would be. I'd prefer CP. Like no thing against Russ. We need a little bit more shooting than Russ can provide. But I think that those are two very viable candidates. I don't think that's the only moves that the Lakers are going to make. I think they've got a lot. I think they've got a lot under the.
They got a lot to do.
They've Jeannie Buss has a lot going on in her head, and I think that they're gonna make some interesting moves this offseason.
She gonna hit up Alex Rodriguez at the owners' meetings?
Yeah, probably. It's like if I do this, will you trade us Cat for KCP?
If I help you get over J-Lo, will you?
Wow. Okay, I'm not talking shit. No, not talking shit about my favorite team's general or owner, I guess. But yeah, I would. I honestly, if I were her, I'd probably do that. That would be championships. Championships.
There you go, and a bridge in the future. So,
I mean, their nicknames have the same amount of letters. So like,
A rod.
A rod bust.
Clem, you're like A-Rod without the baseball.
I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or not, but I'm going to.
I know you are. That's why I said it.
Following up with Lakers news, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry have expressed interest in joining.
I saw that. Imagine, dude, how pissed will you?
Does that make you happy?
It makes me happy purely to the point because if that ends up happening and Kyle Lowry and DeRozan win a ring together on my team and not yours,
so
that would be fucking awesome.
Listen. Kyle Lowry, like think about the starting five: Kyle Lowry, DeMar. And I don't think they could both happen, but like Kyle Lowry, DeMar, LeBron, AD, and Marc Gasol. Like,
and they win the chip.
That's the guy that the Raptors like
trade AD for Kawhi.
Historically, the Raptors been calling Daddy for like years. Like they call him like Daddy LeBron and shit. LeBronto. And he goes and takes him. He takes him to a championship. Like,
dude, I remember when he was like, both when he was leaving Miami and when he was leaving Cleveland, people were like, he's coming to Toronto, man.
Toronto fans do that with everyone. They literally did it with Giannis. We'll do it with everyone.
That's because Toronto fans are under the assumption that they're like the Maple Leafs and that they're the do-all and be-all of their sport. And then they realize, oh, hey, like, this Toronto Raptors team isn't exactly entrenched in basketball history, and then LeBron goes and hits the floater over OG Anunoby in Game 1 of the 2000 whatever semifinals.
Every year from 2011 to like 2017.
Yeah,
every year.
Yeah, yep.
It's like, oh, the Raptors won a game, and LeBron's going to the finals.
Yeah. Oh, hey, the Raptors like lost 2 games in a row. Oh my gosh, the Raptors are tied 2-2. Oh wait, LeBron goes off.
Didn't it go to Game 7 one year?
No, it went to Game 6.
Right.
Game 6
in Toronto too. That was like when
it was the most irrelevant series ever because the Raptors won all the games by like a point or something, and Cleveland just would blow them out by like 30.
No, literally, I remember like LeBron giving his post-game interview, and everyone was still at the ACC. Where I'm like, "Let's go Raptors!"
Yeah, because it was the Eastern Conference Finals in 2016.
Yeah,
and they went to 6 games, and LeBron, after absolutely daddying them for like 35 points and 10 assists, was like, "Man, this crowd's electric, dude!" Like
listen to these fans. I just destroyed their team in front of them.
Yeah. You know, they all hate me and shit, but like, let's make sure that they're not booing me.
These are some great fans. Too bad they cheer for a shit team. Thanks, Ron.
literally. And I guess wrapping it up in not so surprising move, LeBron has become the first active player in NBA history to earn $1 billion. Not really surprising, but earned $330 million through his time in the NBA. He's also raked in $700 million in endorsements, including AT&T, Beats, Blaze Pizza, GNC, Pepsi, and Walmart. And his lifetime deal with Nike.
And he hasn't even been paid for Space Jam yet.
Nope.
Have either of you seen it yet?
Not yet.
No, I'm gonna watch the original tonight because
we should.
On Netflix.
I'm coming over.
We should watch the second one. We should all 4 of us should get together and watch it.
How are you gonna watch the second one though? What? I don't know where we'll find the second one, but we'll find it.
I trust me, I can get the second one. We downloaded movies illegally.
Okay. All right. Anyways.
Oh wait, I can't say that. I buy all our movies that we watch.
Yeah, we go to Blockbuster and get our movies. Yeah. All right.
So, one more announcement before we end the show here. The fourth member of our team, Justin, will be going by the title Producer J from now on.
Producer J.
He will still be on some episodes, but he will likely be behind the scenes for more than most of them.
We'll bring him on.
Somebody from OCS says, Luke, that's an ugly ass.
Well, we're going to win the division this year because Jalen Hurts is fucking awful. So suck my dick because I know you're Jesse. Because I know it's Jesse. Because I know it's Jesse.
It's not Jesse.
Oh, it's not Jesse?
It can't be because Jesse knows. Jesse doesn't follow NFL really.
Oh,
30 touchdown passes.
well, you're looking at the
30
logo, depending on how Daniel Jones plays, of the team that's going to win your division. So,
depending on
whoever texted it to that, I want to make you bet $50. Daniel Jones throws more TDs than Jalen Hurts does this season. I'll put $50 on it right now. I'll put $50 on it.
That's And are you putting $50 American? Because we have to consider
the inflation.
Inflation and the American dollar. So yeah.
But the offer's on the table. $50, Joe. Daniel Jones has more touchdown passes than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
The door is open.
So that was our announcement about producer Jay.
Producer Jay.
He is going to totally milk the shit out of that name. He's probably in his Tinder bio going to put producer Jay.
No.
He probably will. Let's be honest. It's Justin.
It's Jake Long. What's up, Jake?
I told you it wasn't Jesse.
It's Jake. I can't see it. Let me see it.
It's Jake. I knew it. I knew it the minute he started talking about football. I know. Danny Petties.
All right, are we making this?
Danny Petties.
No. Make the bet then. Make the bet.
I love that. I love that.
If you hate Danny that much, I'm offering you free $50.
He says no. He says no to the bet because Danny Pennies blows. But then doesn't have faith in his quarterback in Jalen.
Yeah, because
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts,
despite the better weaponry around him and the better offense, I would say better offensive line, he doesn't want to bet the house on Jalen Hurts.
No, I would say that Daniel Jones has better receiver core.
And Jalen Reagor, Devonta Smith.
What are you gonna do if A-Rod or Aaron Rodgers actually shows up?
Come in my
What
pants.
am I gonna
probably.
do?
To be 100% honest,
gonna
I'll
do?
probably come in my pants.
What do you mean? Shows up where? Like,
Dude, as long as it's not the
Giants,
as long
the
as
Packers?
as long as it's not the Cowboys, I'm fine with it. I hate the Cowboys.
Yeah, so
well, that's everyone. They all hate each other in the division.
and
Fuck the Cowboys.
that's all we got for today, guys. Thanks for checking out the episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed the interview. Jake Long says, I agree. So yeah, check out the rest of the shows on our network. Make sure you check out Flyers Alley, the Dusty Buttes, and I forgot to take off the premiering part, but the Rumble Fumble, which has premiered, and Beck is on that. So what do you got going on there, Beck, with that?
Basically, so after, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, we had our first episode. We went to the quarterback room a little bit. We're going to get into the greatest of all time safety discussion. We're going to talk about some of the COVID stuff going on in the league right now with the new enforcement policy of the NFL. That, and I think, we're going to get into much more, but that's what I remember off the top of my head. I'll know more tomorrow when I prepare. But yeah, it's looking really good. So if that's what you're into, tune in tomorrow. Tune in Sunday at 1 p.m. and we'll have all things NFL for you on Rumble Fumble.
Cool. And yeah, check out the rest of the shows. I do still need to type up a banner for the rest of the shows. We got the Blue Line pre-show, which is our league-wide AHL show, the Dusty Buttes, and Dropping the Mic, which is on a hiatus right now. So yeah, check them out. And our network is now sponsored by Body Check Wellness. Check it out. I haven't made anything screen-wise for that. So you can check out Flyers Alley for the promo code and all of that. But we will have that up for you guys starting next week. Thanks, guys, and cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, boys.